Live on my TikTok as well. There we are. Okay, I may go for a Signalis episode today. See how many chapters are left in this book. We're on Principle 62. That's 62, 67. There are 5 more. Might have to do a back-to-back episode. Yeah, I think I'll need to do a back-to-back episode on Saturday. Ensure I can return this book. Maybe what I'll do is a triple episode on the 4th. Yeah, just so I can get this back on Saturday. Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and power through. Today we're in Principle 62. Find a way to serve. It's one of the most beautiful compensations of this life that no man can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. It was Ralph Waldo Emerson, American essayist and poet. Greatest levels of contentment and self-satisfaction are experienced by those who have found a way to serve others. In addition to the true inner joy that is created by serving others, it is a universal principle that you cannot serve others without it coming back multiplied to yourself. Decide what is important to you. Take some time to determine what causes and groups of people are important to you. What issues call out to you? What organizations make your heart sing? Do you care about housing the homeless, promoting the arts, protecting the abused, healing the addicted, providing education, feeding the hungry, or supporting our veterans? If you love art and think that schools are woefully lacking in art education, you might decide to volunteer to raise funds for art supplies, volunteer to teach an art class, become a docent at your local art museum. If you're an only child who really missed having your father or mother around, you might want to volunteer for big brothers or big sisters. Perhaps you love animals and would rather help find homes for abandoned pets. If you love books, you could volunteer to read a book for the recording of for the blind and dyslexic. Volunteer your skills. Many nonprofit organizations that could use your business skills: management, accounting, marketing, volunteer recruitment, fundraising, and so on. If you have an organizational talent, consider working on charitable events. Easily convince others of the value of your cause. Consider becoming a fundraiser for local charities who need your help. If you are a skilled executive, consider serving on the board of a nonprofit organization. You get more than you give. When you volunteer, you'll get back a whole lot more than you give. Research on volunteerism shows that people who volunteer live longer, have stronger immune systems, fewer heart attacks, recover from heart attacks faster, have higher self-esteem, and have a deeper sense of meaning and purpose than those who don't volunteer. Research also shows that people who volunteer in their younger years are more likely to end up in more prestigious and higher paying jobs than their non-volunteering counterparts. Volunteering is a powerful way of networking and often leads to business and career opportunities, not to mention more friendships. Volunteering is also a way to develop important success skills. Many larger corporations have come to realize this and actually encourage their employees to volunteer. Many companies, such as Safeco and the Pillsbury Company, actually build volunteerism into their employee development programs and make it part of their annual review process. Safeco's Building Skills Through Volunteerism program helps employees identify skills they would like to work on. Employees can go to the Volunteer at Safeco intranet where they find a guide to the types of volunteer activities that help build competency in the areas the employee chooses. They then have a discussion with their supervisor about adding the volunteer opportunity to their personal development plan. Many prospective employers also report that when they are interviewing candidates for hire, they now look to see if the candidates have engaged in volunteer work. So volunteering your time could have a positive payoff by helping you land a future job. Additionally, one of the keys to success is building a huge network of relationships, and volunteering lets you meet all kinds of people you would never meet otherwise. Better yet, they are often people or the spouses of the people who make things happen in your profession and in your community. Unexpected career and business rewards. Lano's Coffee Roasters has a policy of sponsoring a Child Fund International Child for every employee in the company. As a way to give back to the countries that make their business possible, they sponsor children only in coffee-growing countries from which they buy beans, such as Guatemala, Colombia, and Costa Rica. Delano's pays the $35 monthly sponsorship fee, and the individual employees correspond with their child, send birthday and Christmas gifts, and maintain a relationship with the child. In addition to making a difference in the world, the sponsorship program has proven to be a great boost for employee morale. While the motivation to sponsor these children was purely philanthropic, it has also had a positive impact on the company's bottom line. All the pictures of the children they sponsor are posted along the wall of one of the hallways of the company. A prospective client was being given a tour of the company and asked about the origin of the pictures. When it was explained that the pictures were of children being supported by the company through Child Fund International, the woman was so touched that before she even tasted Delano's coffee, she decided that she wanted to do business with a company that cared so much for children and for their employees. Service always comes back multiplied. Serving others can also consist of focusing your company's mission on producing products and services that are beneficial to mankind. Sir John Marks Templeton studied more than 10,000 companies over a 50-year period and discovered that the best long-term results flowed to those who focused on providing increasingly beneficial products and services. Whatever one does, Templeton said, he first should ask, in the long run, is this really useful to the public? If so, he's serving as a minister. I think those in business can assure each other that if one tries to give his best when serving the community, his business will not languish but prosper. Excerpted from Religion and Liberty. Think about the possibility that when you choose to do work that uplifts and serves, that brings people increasingly beneficial products and services. When your efforts are focused on giving rather than getting, then you're going to eventually receive back more than you have given. As Zig Ziglar, one of America's greatest teachers of success principles, was fond of saying, you can't get anything in life you want. You can get anything in life you want if you just help enough people get what they want. The world responds to givers more positively than to takers. We naturally want to support the givers. Simply stated, givers get. Road to Fulfillment. Kenneth Bering is a very wealthy man who has appeared numerous times on the annual Fortune 500 and Forbes 400 lists of the wealthiest people in America, with an estimated net worth of $495 million. Growing up poor in Wisconsin, he earned his first money delivering newspapers, cutting lawns, and caddying, and as a teenager, working in a lumberyard and in a retail store. After high school, he sold used cars and eventually opened his own new and used car dealerships. By the age of 27, he was a millionaire. He then moved to Florida and began a second career as a real estate developer. He founded and built Tamarac, Florida, and later moved to California, where he developed Blackhawk, one of the most exclusive residential communities in the United States. When I met him and heard him speak at the International Achievement Summit in Chicago, Illinois, he talked about how his quest for a happy life had gone through 4 stages. He called the first stage more stuff. In the early days of getting started, he wanted all the basic stuff: car, house, a business that was growing and expanding. He thought if he had these things, he'd be happy, but he wasn't. He called the second stage of his life better stuff. He thought if he had a big mansion, a more expensive car, a private jet, a huge DC-9, a yacht, and exotic vacations, he would be happy, but he wasn't. He called the third stage of his life different stuff. He thought perhaps he had been buying the wrong kind of stuff. So Ken started buying classic cars, expensive ones. He eventually owned over 100 of them, and even opened an automotive museum to display what had become the world's largest classic car collection. Still looking for the thing that would make him happy, he decided to join with his partner Ken Hoffman and buy the NFL Seattle Seahawks football team. He figured if he owned a professional football team, he could sit in with the owner's box with his friends and mingle with the players on the field and in the locker room. This would bring him happiness. But it didn't. The fourth stage of his life began when a friend asked Ken if on his way back from a trip to Africa in his private plane, he wouldn't mind stopping in Romania to deliver 6 wheelchairs to a hospital there. During that trip, Ken was transformed by the experience of lifting an elderly man who lost his wife and then suffered a stroke into a wheelchair. Ken started to cry, and Ken found himself touched at a deeper level than he'd ever been touched before. He felt more gratitude and joy than he'd ever experienced before. Inspired by that experience, he came home and founded the Wheelchair Foundation, which provides free wheelchairs for people with physical disabilities in the developing nations unable to afford one. As of 2014, the Wheelchair Foundation had given away over 940,000 wheelchairs in 152 countries around the globe. The following year, Ken had the experience of delivering a wheelchair to a frail 11-year-old boy in Mexico City who was disabled and blind. The boy wanted to thank him, so Ken bent down and took his hands so the boy would know where he was. Through tears and an interpreter, the young boy said, "I can't see you now, but I will see you in heaven, and I'll thank you one more time." Ken said he was touched so deeply he was unable to answer him. And he told us, "That was the first time in my life I felt pure joy." Make sure you too find a way to serve. For it is in giving that we receive. That was St. Francis of Assisi. Kenneth E. Baring has published a memoir called Road to Purpose, One Man's Journey Bringing Hope to Millions and Finding Purpose Along the Way, which is a very inspiring book. Next time we'll find ourselves in part 6, Success in the Digital Age. A quote from Bono. You've got 4 chapters remaining, I believe. Let me double check that. There's also an afterword. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, yes. I believe I will need doubled up episodes on Friday and Saturday to give me time to return this book before I go on my travels. But yes, we are on the final part 6, Success in the Digital Age. Please remember to support the show, like, comment, share, subscribe, donations, Ben Stormer Show. Thank you for any and all support that this show should receive. Thank you for every subscribe on YouTube and follow on TikTok. Keep tight, have a good night. I've been your host, Stormer Show, signing out and signing off. Thanks so much for watching.